Good evening, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today at our graduate webinar where we're going to discuss careers in the water industry with Stantec. I'm Amy Wiley and I'm part of the talent acquisition team in the early careers function at Stantec, and I'm joined by Charlotte Smith, Lucy Ashen and Elliot Gill. So they're going to talk a little bit more about their career journey and what they've been involved in at Stantec and potentially what you could be involved in if you decide to join us as a graduate. So yeah, firstly, just to kick it off, we'll have Elliot, who's going to give us a little bit of an overview of Stantec, what we do and the water industry. So I'll just pass it over to you, Elliot, just to begin.
Thank you, Amy, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our little chat this evening. So my name's Elliot Gill, and I'm a technical director in Stantec's water business. And one of my roles is to lead our market on urban drainage and flooding. So that's everything that Stantec does in the field of sewers and stormwater, flooding in cities, and then also pollution in cities from sewers. And I'm sure you've all seen in the press material on how rivers and seas are suffering from storm overflows. Well, we're right in the centre of that work. So I'll come back to a little of that in a minute. But Stantec overall in the water sector, so we're one of the largest consultants working in the UK water sector. We have around 1,000 engineers, scientists, planners, a whole variety of skill set, digital people. And one of the things we really try and do is create these teams of people and blend individuals to really service the client. So whereas, 20, 30 years ago, we might have just done all of this with civil engineers, and they're still central to plenty of what we do, we're now increasingly collaborating across the disciplines with process scientists, geographers, water quality experts, landscape architects. There's a real kind of melee of skilled individuals. So working in this environment is particularly rewarding, whatever your background is. I think one of the advantages of working at Stantec is that we work for virtually all of the water companies in the UK. So there's 9 big ones in England, and then there's Scotland and Wales as well. And we also have a business in Ireland and Northern Ireland. So all of that together represents a very big market. And we work for all of these companies. So that gives us huge opportunities to kind of move around between different clients. And also that really helps us to learn, but it also helps our clients to learn from us. So that's a very good symbiotic relationship. And there's no shortage of opportunity for our staff as a result. So people rarely get stuck in a rut doing the same thing again and again. We can move you on. You could try something else with the same client or something different with a new client. All of that is possible. So a little bit about my career journey. Would that be good now, Amy?
Yeah, that'd be good. I was just about to ask. Yeah.
Okay, so I've been doing this for about 30 years now, and I was a geographer originally. And I had a passion for water chemistry and rivers, and especially glaciers. And at one point, romantically, I thought I'd be a glaciologist, but they don't reward glaciologists terribly well. So I ended up in the water industry, and I've worked for a number of consultants over the year, all within this field of urban drainage. And one of the most rewarding things I do alongside working with Stantec is actually through a professional institution called SciWem. And I help run one of their organisations as well, focused on this. So not only am I part of Stantec's technical community, I enjoy being part of a wider professional technical community that is made up of people that work for other firms, our clients, regulator companies like the Environment Agency and Ofwat, and we're all in a technical community together. And it's a really powerful technical community in this country, which is very rewarding to be part of. So if I just come back quickly to storm overflows, it's the biggest challenge on the table at the moment. We're looking at a £57 billion expenditure over the next 25 years. Which is enormous. Like, that's the largest ever investment in this kind of work ever. So people can start and finish whole careers working on such a large program. So particularly exciting opportunities right now.
Thank
I think
you.
I'll stop now. Thanks, Amy.
I was just going to ask you, is there any projects that you've already worked on that you feel have been really interesting, and why did they stand out to you?
Well, I'm fortunate and I get to do quite a lot of policy type work with the government. So because of Stantec's strong technical reputation for delivering, government organisations are interested in our advice as well. So I've done a fair number of advisory projects for the government, not least the latest one on storm overflows, where we help them explore the policy options that were available, what the cost consequences of those might be, and what the benefits might be. And our work led directly into the Environment Act that was published last year, and is really the science underpinning the strategy they have going forward. So I find that particularly rewarding, because it's a way I can really make a difference on a national platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's important for graduates to hear. A lot of them do want to make a difference and, get a job that really contributes to society and the environment. So yeah, that's great to hear. And so what kind of skills would you say are needed to do a role like this in the kind of urban drainage sector?
Well, everybody needs a kind of base level of numeracy and scientific nous. But I think that's taken as a given, really, if you're applying for a job at Stantec. But I think increasingly the skill sets we're looking for are around communication and how we speak to our colleagues in different disciplines. That's the first level, but then also to our clients, and how we write, how we present, and increasingly how we address the public directly. And we're often brought in to address members of the public directly on behalf of our clients, because we are the experts. So people, successful professionals in the future will be the ones that can not only kind of do all the clever stuff behind closed doors, but they can also stand up on a platform, talk about it, write about it, be passionate and convincing about it.
Excellent, thank you. We've actually had a question, and they've said, what policies did your projects have in place to promote sustainability?
Well, I guess the whole premise of the work that I've been doing on is about sustainability, because we're improving water quality. We're making rivers safer for fish and invertebrates, and also safe for people to go swimming as well. So in a way, we're making our environment more sustainable. Now, along the way, we've got to be really careful that we don't, trash things in seeking that improvement. So we're also passionate about seeking low carbon, and we've got a particular approach. When we come forward with technical solutions, we appraise the alternatives for their carbon impact, and of course we seek to choose the lowest carbon, but then we also look at wider benefits, social, community benefits as well. So yeah, sustainability is very much central to what we do.
So thanks very much, Elliot. I'm going to move along to Charlotte now. So hi, Charlotte. Could you tell us a little bit about your role at Stantec and what your career journey has been like?
Thanks, Amy. So my name's Charlotte Smith. I'm a technical director, like Elliot, but I sort of specialise more in sort of the process side of the business, and also system thinking. So we're very much, we look at things holistically, and as Elliot's just been talking about, is looking at the most sustainable solution. We're not just the drive to put lots of concrete in the ground. We're very much looking at what's the most beneficial solution for any given need or driver. But I kind of started 20 years ago in as a graduate process engineer. So I went into Edinburgh Uni. I did a master's in chemical engineering, and kind of landed into the water industry really. But I think what attracted me was the sustainability element. I really was quite passionate about like working in an industry that kind of cared about what it was doing. But I also really wanted something that had a graduate program, and that was even, we are accredited with the ICME, and we'll talk about that later, and a lot of other institutions. And it really attracted me that there was quite a structure to that learning, which was really good. And I had there was a career path for me. But I really, you know, I did chemical engineering, so that was process engineering was quite a natural fit. So in my first sort of 4 years to chartership, I did a lot of design and feasibility, but I also did a lot of commissioning as well. So I was on site, did a sampling, and really trying to understand how a treatment process worked. And it was an amazing sort of 4 years doing lots of different projects, troubleshooting. I was the one that was getting phoned up when things weren't working on site and having to go in and try and fix stuff. But it was great experience just to be able to try lots of different things and have the support of peers to try and help solve problems and make things work, which is kind of what I like being as an engineer. So yeah, so I got chartered in 4 years, and that graduate program really helped me to get there. And then I ended up, I started off my career down in Warrington, and then I ended up going back up to Edinburgh for 5 years. So worked in the office and really started doing an awful lot of carbon footprinting, which was fab and helped build our carbon capabilities, which is really important, especially now. Everything carbon is one of our main parameters to consider when we're designing our projects. And I ended up also doing quite a lot of odor control, so a bit different. So and I ended up being our technical lead in the UK and Middle East for a while. Came back down to Warrington for the last 10 years and have really sort of done a lot of the system catchment-y type work. Also done a lot of leading of projects. And I think one thing about Stantec that's great is there's so much opportunities to move around. You don't feel like you're stuck in a box. There's a lot of opportunities to sort of try different things, you know, move around, try business consulting. We're talking today about our water and energy sort of industry, but we do have like asset management and business consulting elements as well, and digital. So we are, we're very much at the, driving those digital solutions to really help make those best decisions. And the last couple of years, I've become a fellow of the ICME, and I'm now a technical director. And I kind of sometimes, think that that varied path has really helped me get to the point that I'm in, and Stantec has been really, really helpful in that they've not made me stick to a specific path. I've tried technical leadership, I've tried project leadership, and all of that has given me the experience to get me to being a technical director that I am now.
And yeah, that's really good to hear that you've been able to do different things and move around a little bit. I think that's something that graduates really want, to be able to try different things and have the opportunity to move around and see different places. That's great. And so what kind of things could a graduate process engineer be involved in at Stantec now? Is there any kind of main projects that are happening that would be of interest to them?
So at the moment, a lot of people are involved in the next stage of the of sort of trying to business planning for what we call AMP8. So it's Asset Management Programme 8 is the next big thing that will start in about 2024. So we're helping our water company clients really try and pull their plans together to be able to deliver the sort of Environment Acts and all the other stuff that Elliot was talking about in his sort of presentation there. So there's a lot of that sort of work, but a lot of our graduate process engineers are also involved in on-site energy improvements. We're designing projects, commissioning projects for this AMP cycle. And so it's a very varied, sort of career path really, that process engineers are there at the start to really get a project moving, designing it, but then at the end just to make sure it's working and it's delivering what the performance it should. And as I say, at the start of my career, I did a lot of sort of sampling and really trying to understand how the process works. And that's a real skill that we like our graduates to sort of get experience of, is getting to that nitty gritty of what makes it tick, which helps them troubleshoot and problem solve and apply that to other problems that can arise. And we kind of don't just work in the water industry. We do work for industrial clients as well, and in the energy sector as well. We have quite a big base in there. So yeah, there's quite an opportunity to work across the board really, and with our other community development team as well. So yeah, lots of varied work.
Excellent. And so you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but what would you say are the kind of main rewards of your role working in the water industry? And then on the flip side of that, are there any challenges of working in the water industry?
I think the opportunity, there's loads of opportunities, and I would always say grab any opportunity that you can, and just because I think my day, no day is the same, which is great, because I like that variety, and I like being able to network with everybody. And I think what keeps me here is the people, and it's that culture of collaboration, and really like-minded individuals that want to make a difference, and that's really important to me. So there's lots of opportunities for that, which I think, yeah, it's a great place to be. And in terms of challenges, I think that it's fast-paced. I mean, that there's no getting away that we're very, very busy. But I think that it's a challenge managing time, as coming from uni, but there's a lot of a support network to try and help sort of manage that transition, and yeah, really progress the career. And so I think it's challenging, but it's rewarding at the same time.
Thank you. It's probably quite good if we now move on to Lucy, who is a civil engineer, and she can tell us a little bit more about what her journey's been, and she's been through the graduate programme, so she can talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So hi everyone. As Amy said, I'm Lucy, and I'm a civil engineer based in the Leeds office, and I kind of work in the same realm as Elliot in the urban drainage, so civil networks, so everything sewage pipes, suds, pumping stations and combined sewer overflows. That's my main focus. So I studied a 4-year civil engineering degree at the University of Sheffield, probably quite a similar theme to a lot of people, in that I've always been quite interested in geography, but I've always liked the maths side of things and been quite creative, and I just really enjoyed all of the environmental modules. And in my 3rd year urban drainage module, a placement opportunity came up at the Stantec Leeds office, so went for an interview, got that, did a summer placement back in 2018, and really enjoyed the team, did some quite interesting, innovative work, even mentioned some of it in a final year project and got a few extra marks. So it does pay to do a bit of placement, that sort of thing. So yeah, did my final year, did quite a big focus in water. It's not essential, but I think if you've got an interest, it's certainly a very good company to go to, because we basically do everything that's water. There's lots of opportunity. So I came as a graduate in 2019, got assigned lots of very interesting and different projects. I've worked on clean water distribution, retrofitting screens to combine sewer overflows so that you're not getting as many solids in rivers, really large pumping station projects, and then really, really innovative things like the Hull Living with Water programme, where we're strategically looking at reducing floods risk in Hull using blue-green infrastructure. So I've been through the graduate scheme. I'm now a civil engineer, so rather than just being kind of at the early stages, now I delegate work to graduates and apprentices and take more of a lead engineer role on my projects. So yeah, I find that really interesting. And away from my project work, I've been very involved with the Developing Professionals Network, the DPG. So that's something throughout Stantec globally. So we have groups in every single office, and there where all of the young professionals, so graduates, apprentices, and anyone that's interested can come together to learn and have a bit of a social as well. So we get lots of really interesting people. So Charlotte's been to some of our sessions when we can't remember what we're talking about, maybe chemical engineering, something like that. Lots of interesting things. So yeah, that's been a really big highlight of my career. And following on from doing stuff like that, one of my managers asked me to apply for the New Civil Engineer Graduate of the Year Awards, and put in a bit of an application talking about some of the work I'd done at Stantec, and got shortlisted and won that award. It's been really great, opened up lots of opportunities for me, both within the business and outside of it. So I'm now taking on the DPG lead role for the North of England, and outside of work I'm quite involved with the New Civil Engineer magazine, which is the civil engineering industry magazine. So I sit on the editorial board for that. So there's lots of opportunities, and just I didn't know this was the direction I'd go in when I took that placement back when I was 20 when I did that interview. So 5 years later, I've managed to do a lot with Stantec.
No, that's great. It sounds like you've definitely been doing a lot, you know, the award and doing all your things with the DPG. So that's great. It shows that not only do you do the day job, but there's other things that you can get involved in at Stantec, and yeah, really connect with the rest of the graduates. So that's great. You've answered a few of my questions that I was going to ask there. I guess, and someone has asked this as well, could you tell us a little bit about the support that you've had to start working towards chartership and more about the kind of development opportunities there?
Yeah, so from my experience, it's been really great. So pretty much on your first week, you have your induction, you get your line manager who deals with day-to-day things like getting you project work, that sort of things. But you'll also get mentors for chartership. So I'm going for my ICE because I studied civil engineer, but I might also go for SciWem in the future. So I got a delegate engineer who I have a meeting with once every few months, and we chat through what I've done, and they help me with my development reports. And then I've got a supervising civil engineer who I speak with once a quarter, something like that, and they're really good at looking at the bigger picture. So getting opportunities, so things like setting up site visits, or if I want particular experience. So I've got a lot of experience of conceptual design working in the Leeds office for Yorkshire Water. But I really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty and do some detailed design. So for the past year, I've worked for the Northumbria Water Framework in a joint venture. So doing design and build, and things that I've actually designed, I've seen they've been put in the ground, which is really cool. So I've seen both ends, and yeah, just pretty good experience.
Excellent. So you mentioned going on to site visits. So someone's asked, how often do you get to go on site day to day?
Yeah, so I guess it really depends on your role and what sort of projects you're on. So if on, for example, my Northumbrian water job, where we're doing the detailed design and they're on site building it, there's quite a good opportunity to go once a month or maybe more frequently, depending on what's going on the site. Or for some of my Yorkshire jobs, we've done a lot of work on the Ilkley bathing water. So we did quite a lot of walking up and down the river, or I think one of the days I went with one of the river engineers, and we walked all the way from the top of the stream down to where that met the main river in Ilkley. So a variety of different site visits, but yeah, definitely lots of opportunity. It's not just a desk job.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. And what would you say has helped you manage your time in the workplace when you're busy with all kind of different things? Because you do your DPG and you do your things outside of work as well.
Yeah. So I actually find it easier than at university, because you've got people delegating your work and managing your deadlines, and it is a 9 to 5, whereas at university you've constantly got stuff looming over you, that sort of things, and you get that sort of management. But I think if you're naturally organised, it is quite easy, and work do set aside time for some of the extracurricular stuff. So it's not just you do your project work, there's graduate training, there's time set aside for all of the extras. And I've done quite a bit of STEM work, and we've had time away from work to do that. So yeah, it's a real mix.
Great. And someone's asked, which project are you involved with in WG?
So I'm currently, it's quite a strategic pipeline project. So I can't really go into the specifics, but it's involved in transfers and pumping stations for sewage works that need to improve the quality of their effluent that's going into the river. So everything's got quite a similar theme at the moment with improving river quality, which I quite like.
Okay, thank you very much, Lucy. So I've got a couple of questions that I'll pose to all of you, and then I'll kind of go on to a bit of an overview of the graduate scheme. So what is one piece of advice that you would give to graduates starting out on their career now?
I guess for me, it would be take any opportunity that comes your way, put yourself out there, and yeah, just speak about things that you're passionate about.
Elliot, Charlotte, anyone? Yeah. Oh, you're on mute still.
Graduates I most enjoy working with are the ones that ask me lots of questions. I ask them to do something and they say, why? What's that doing? Why are we doing it that way? Why don't we do it this way? So, be inquisitive. And although, in tense moments, it might annoy me a little bit when I reflect, I really do appreciate, because it puts me to test as well. And if I have to take great care to explain something properly and really well, that's good as well. So yeah, I like to be challenged, and I like graduates to ask me questions.
Excellent. Charlotte?
Yeah, I think both. I was going to say both of those things, but yeah, I think just do grab those opportunities and be curious, but also build your network. There's lots of opportunities to not just speak to your own peers and say like the DPG, but also just asking technical experts, like listen to folk on the phone, absorb that, all of that really good information, because that knowledge. So knowledge is one of our key pillars, in Stantec. We, understand the real necessity that knowledge holds, and grab all that knowledge you can, and really, and don't be afraid to ask a question. I mean, we're all nice folk, and quite happy to impart knowledge and really hear your ideas as well. Like we're not proud enough that we can't listen. Do you know what I mean? And we're really keen to hear what you guys think, and and some of our really good ideas that have come forward recently are from our graduates, and I think they have a different, fresh perspective on the situation, and really encourage all of that as well, just to share ideas.
I'd really second that. So find everyone from right at the top senior levels down to the new starters very approachable. Everyone's ideas are respected. Nothing is a silly question or a silly idea. You should consider everything, because it might be a world-leading innovation, and that does happen quite often, I find.
Yeah, this is a common theme. I was on another webinar with some other graduates, and everyone feels so supported, throughout the business. So I think the people culture is really important at Stantec. All right,
can I add
you.
a bit more advice?
Yeah, sure,
and that's to come to the office. So post-COVID, companies like ours have slightly more flexible arrangements than they used to, perhaps, and people work at home for a bit. But I think the learning that you get when you're in the office is much superior, but it's also that social / professional interaction you have with people at all levels is really important for your professional development. How do you conduct yourself on the telephone in front of a client? How do you conduct yourself when you go for a coffee with your client, or you go for lunch with them? Just things like that you just pick up by being there, and that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. All right, so thank you very much. I'm going to just do a quick overview of our graduate programme and what opportunities we have available. So we are recruiting at the moment for our graduate programme for 2023 starts. So as Charlotte was saying earlier, we do recruit across a wide range of disciplines at Stantec. It's not just engineering. You'll see there you've got your civil, electrical, mechanical and process engineering roles, but we do also recruit in digital services. So that's for people who might be interested in things like data analytics, data science, and also GIS. We've also got projects and programme management, and they work across all different sectors. So there's quite a bit of variety there. And we've got the wastewater network modelling urban drainage team, hydrological sciences, more kind of environmental sustainability consulting, and as Siobhan mentioned, Charlotte, sorry, not Siobhan, asset management and business consulting as well. So there's loads of different opportunities, you know, no matter what discipline you're from, there's bound to be something there to suit you. So all of our roles are open at the moment. I think there's around 180 available positions. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to choose from. And we do operate across the UK and Ireland. You'll see from the map there that we've got loads of different locations, from Scotland to the Midlands all the way down to the south of England. It's not on there, but we're opening a new office in Brighton as well. So that'll be another location that we'll be looking for graduates in. And yeah, in Ireland, we've got the Dublin office, and we have recently opened an office in Belfast. So that's not on there, but we have that as well as an option for graduates.
There's openings in all those office locations, but we as a business work across locations. So you could have a base office, but I work across loads of different water companies. So you might be based in an office, but that doesn't mean that you'll be working just solely from that office. And that's one of the really good opportunities as well, is you get to work across sectors, across clients, and that again really attracted me to Stantec in that respect. So it's, yeah, just because you might feel, oh, I want to do something here, but I don't want to move, that's not necessarily an issue. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. Thank you. Yeah, because we might not always, you know, every team might not recruit for every office, but there is opportunities to work across different teams and work with people from different locations. So yeah, that's definitely an opportunity. So you'll see the contact information there. We've got our careers email. If you don't want to ask a question today, or you think of something later, you can reach out to us through that. So that's our QR code. So you can scan that and you'll be able to see all of the graduate opportunities on there and apply through that link. In terms of the graduate scheme itself, so it's now a 2.5-year graduate programme. So within those 2 years, there'll be lots of opportunities for formal training days and development, whether that's in person or virtually. So this is a kind of new thing that we've just launched recently, but there's been quite a lot of in-person graduate days, and I was at one on Monday in Edinburgh, and it was really good for everyone to come together and meet graduates from across the business, and really kind of learn about your personality, you know, how you are at work, and really kind of develop those softer skills. So the graduate programme focuses on developing that, you know, your communication, presentation, leadership skills, but then also you'll have the development in the technical side of things. So within your discipline, you'll have that support from your manager and your mentor, and you'll have more kind of technical training on the job. And as Lucy said, there will be support to start working towards your competencies for chartership or work towards any kind of professional qualifications. So that's all included within the graduate scheme as well. And of course, there's opportunities to do things outside of the role, you know, networking, volunteering days, the DPG. So there's lots of different things, employee resource groups. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities to meet lots of different people across the business through those.
Yeah, and if I could just chip in, like one of the really great things about Stantec, if you want to do something, you can just set it up. So I know one of the grads up in Newcastle just set up an employee resource group for something that she wanted to do. Like if you've got an idea, everyone's very open. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to come to the chat now, because I think we do have another few questions. To see. Yeah, so are there still lots of people working from home, or are the offices busier? So certainly I think the offices are getting much busier at the moment. You know, we do still have the hybrid working approach, so people can be flexible, but most people are coming into the office kind of at least 3 days a week, and yeah, coming together a lot more. I wonder what you guys think in your respective offices as well.
Yeah, so I normally come in 3 to 4 days a week. I think most of the new graduates maybe come in a little bit more in the first few weeks, maybe 4 or 5 days a week, till they've found their feet and then settle into a pattern that works with them, I guess, depending on how far their commute is or how best they work. Some people can't focus as much in an office environment, but they get all of their like social side and meeting up with their team, but they might go home to focus, and it's all really personal. You can decide on that with your manager.
Yeah.
I think in our office we try and our team, we try and come in on the same days. So I tend to come in a couple of days a week because I work 4 days a week, and just to try and like those opportunities to share knowledge and, you know, sort of communicate and to collaborate on ideas and stuff. So we find we try and be in at the same time. And but I think it is really important to be in the office as much as can be, really. But that's not to say that you have to be in every day. That we're very much moving towards just having that balanced working arrangement.
So yeah, if anyone does have any questions, you know, as I said, you can reach out on the careers email, and also my email and my colleague's email are in the chat if you did want to reach out, or even connect on LinkedIn. If there's anything you want to know or discuss anything further, you can do that. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and Charlotte, Lucy and Elliot, thank you for participating and answering all of my questions. And yeah, thanks very much and have a good evening, everyone.